Morning all. On behalf of the PAC College of Technology and Department of Information Technology, I welcome all of you for the inaugural function of Venmurasu Programming Context. I request Dr. K. Uma Maheshwari, Professor and Head, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Shardambige. So it is my great pleasure to invite you all for the inaugural function of Venmurasu Programming Contest. To give a few words about this Venmurasu Programming Contest, when it was started, it is an year back. We started by our alumni, Mr. M. Vishwanathan. He is our IT alumnus from 2005 passed out batch who has voluntarily initiated to conduct this event. And he has funded 3 lakhs for this as a deposit, and the interest will be carried over to conduct the events and given as a prize money every year. So he is the director of engineering core platform, Right Cell, San Francisco, California. I welcome Mr. M. Vishwanathan. Thank you, Vishwanathan, for initiating this event, and I welcome you for this initial inauguration of this event.
Thank you, man.
And I also invite Mr. Mahendra Rajan. He is our resource person who is going to start with this program with a technical talk on introduction to machine learning in natural language computing. He is a vice president, Data Cloud, and Know the Rock Canada from Canada. And I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and I welcome Dr. Shardambige and Dr. T. Vairam, who has been coordinating for this event to happen. I welcome you, dear coordinators.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I welcome all our dear faculty, professors, associate professors, and assistant professors of IT department. And I welcome all the participants from various branches, right from information technology, computer science and engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, electronics and communication engineering, who has willingly registered for this program. And we have a very good registration of about 230 participants to join this event. So I welcome them all, and I welcome everybody for this event, and let go this event for a longer duration of time. I wish you all a very good sessions this time. Thank you, and I leave the forum to Shadambi.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Mahendra Rajan. Mr. Mahendra Rajan completed BE in University of Madras in the year 1998 and his master's in the College of Engineering, Guindy in 2001. He joined as a senior system analyst in Ramco System from 2001 to 2006, and he promoted as a project manager in the year 2007 till 2011. From 2011 to 2019, he was working as a chief software architect and officer in Southern Technologies. Now he is a vice president of software engineering and data cloud, Canada. I request Mr. Mahendra Rajan to give a technical talk titled Introduction to Machine Learning in Natural Language Computing.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A long introduction. I mean, it was like there's been quite some time since I heard about the past companies. Okay, thanks for the introduction. Okay.
Thank
It
you,
was a
sir.
pleasure. We are collected from the LinkedIn, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Because certainly I have not shared that. So that's fine. Fantastic. So can we get started?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, you can share your screen, sir.
Yeah. We all see the whole view, or is it the partial view and slightly?
We are seeing not in the presenter mode though. It's showing
okay.
the concept.
Presentation mode. Okay. Let me change it to presentation mode. Do you see it in the presentation?
Still loading.
Getting loading, sir. Yes, sir. Now we could see it.
Okay, good. Good morning to all the students. Back to the student days, I remember, it's very hard to drag myself out of the bed if it is a weekend. So I thought I'm committing a great sin, but I understand from ma'am that today it's a college for you, so at least I'm not guilty. Okay, very good. So today what we thought we thought of giving a slight introduction about machine learning, and in particular about natural language computing, right? So slide. Okay, so for our is to give you a overview of what machine learning is all about. Probably you might have already heard of it. I'll kind of give you a bit of gist on what is machine learning about, and and also about the current state of Indic languages. Since our focus today, machine learning is a wide topic, right? It's being applied across various domains. But for today's topic, I thought I'll focus a bit more on natural languages. I mean, the term natural languages is because in software, when you say language, people typically associate with the software programming language. To differ from that, people call it as a human languages as a natural language, nothing else. So we will focus a bit more on the natural languages and the
Sir, sir, 1 minute, sir. Sir, your voice is actually breaking.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so we have a disturbance in the noise.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I would try.
Probably we can turn off the video. We are not hearing you.
Sir, you unmute and then speak, sir.
Sorry, is it better now?
Yeah, somewhat better, sir.
Okay. Sorry about that little glitch.
Yeah, now it is fine, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, very good. Probably doesn't like my pretty face, maybe. Okay, so moving on to this, I advanced quite a bit. Okay. So yeah, so we'll focus a bit more on the natural languages, and let's talk about a bit on the machine
I
translation.
think you can come on the video also, sir. It's fine only.
Yeah. I wouldn't attempt that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Let's try this, and if not, I'll cut off my video. Sorry about those glitches. Okay, so yeah, so I will give you a small demo on taking a snippet, try and do machine translation with the available existing open source library, and we will move on to the more exciting stuff about the current year programming, Windows programming contest. Please stop me if my audio is not very clear, if I have to read any of my points. Okay. So if you look at the traditional, I mean, the computing, as you are aware, it is as pervasive and as ubiquitous as electricity, right? So there is not a domain that is not touched by software. But even then, there are certain hard challenges that computing doesn't solve, right? There are still problems that software doesn't handle very well. A few of them are like image recognition, speech recognition. Image recognition is basically computer vision, and speech recognition, like if the human speech can understand and try and maybe convert to text to speech or speech to text and things like that. And then natural language processing. If you give a text to the computer, can it understand? Can it make sense out of that text? Right. So that's what is natural language processing. And autonomous driving, can the software can self-drive by itself in real-world conditions. And also, medical image processing is more like a specialized area, right? So if you look, one of the commonality that is across these so-called problems, is it requires some sort of a cognition, right? It requires some sort of an intelligence. It's not a simple number crunching. So you also need to make sense out of the data. So, which is typically in the realm of human intelligence. The computers are never, part of this. Even in these areas, currently, a huge, improvement, right? Which I'm going to show you right now. I'm trying to advance to the next. To advance. Okay, so these are few of areas, the domains that I mentioned right now, just before. Image classification, machine translation, medical image segmentation, autonomous driving, right? Look at the recent improvements in each of these domains. You could see huge growth, right? The highlighted areas that you see, like 2014, 2015 onwards, there has been a huge step change in terms of the improvement. So these are all the tests that is compared against humans, right? For example, image classification. If you show a picture of a dog or a cat, can it identify as that picture versus the human? It could be in a crowded or in a confused image or something. If the human can make make out of whether it's a dog or a cat, and the computer software can do the same, something like that. If you look at this, it attains efficiency of almost 90 to 95%, right? That is attaining a human efficiency. Same goes for so image classification is a kind of a well-defined problem that the vision does wonderful things, but it's not the case for few other domains. For example, machine translation, even though there is a huge improvement, still it's attains somewhere like 30 to 40%. And the next medical image segmentation. This is a very specialized area, right? This requires, for example, a radiologist, doctor, supposing they have the CAT scans or MRI scans or some X-ray, and then they need to identify some, right? Is it a tumor or is it something else? This is a very problem and requires very high specialized knowledge. But if you look at in area, you could see a huge improvement, right? So it is out, it is as good as any other trained specialist. 90, almost attaining a human efficiency. And the same goes for autonomous driving. This has been in production even, right? If you look at, it can drive by itself on a well-defined, maybe not on Indian roads, but here in Western countries, in US, you could see that Tesla's people are off their, self drives to in the highways almost like 80 to 90% of the time. So this is a huge improvement in terms of those areas. And I would like to show a few other cases as well. If you look at recent leaps in the machine AI or machine learning, so I'm slightly not very comfortable with the term AI, because AI means artificial intelligence, AGI, artificial general intelligence. We have not attained that. These are all the steps towards that. will try to confine myself with machine learning. So if you look at, you might all be aware that the chess has been a solved problem, right? The computers beat humans in chess from 20 years, 25 years back. But even then, people said that, yeah, it beat the chess, against humans, but can never do such thing against a game called as Go, because Go is not a simple number chain. We cannot apply a simple back propagation to to analyze your moves, because Go is very, very complicated, and it is completely different game plan, game rules, and everything. So it takes years and years for an expert to get trained on. But recently, what happened is AlphaGo, a program developed by Google, has defeated a top-notch player of the world in Go, right? And if you look at another problem in another completely different domain, which is protein folding, which is a very unsolvable problem for at least for last 50 years, in biotechnology, because this has been very, very critical for your new drug discovery and all that. Again, this is a very, very hard problem. People should be done. There is, there are various literature about how it happens and all that, but it's very, very hard to predict because so much of them is statistical model and probability model. So it's just very, very hard problem to solve. Recently, there has been solved as well, which at least one part of it is not completely solved, but at least it's a huge step change in terms of addressing the problem. So these are different, right? So one is complete in a gaming, one is in a biotech, which is specialized, and next comes natural language interpretation. So there is a company called as OpenAI, which has created something called as a GPT-3, which is generative progressive transformer model, what they call. What it does is it takes huge corpus of text data, right? It could be your Wikipedia, your dictionaries, all your web, crawling the web and all of that. What it does, it takes that, generates processes and creates a huge 175 billion parameter model. You can think of it as a huge matrix, right? Which has maybe some millions and billions of memories. So it has created a model which takes a lot of computing power, millions and millions of CPU, and takes weeks to run even on that high computing resource. Right? And then they created a model. What this model does is it can generate human-like text, right? You can give some starting sentence, then it can complete it for your own. If you give it to somebody and they read it, I mean, it's a bit hard. You have to take a double check to see whether it has been created by a computer or by a human. It can even deceive, human eye. So, such is the power of, the machine learning thing now. So, what has got changed? So, what has happened between this last 15 years? As you have heard, there's been a huge improvement in the computing resource and everything, right? So the phone that we had 5 years back when compared to now, completely different. So but the price has not changed so much. So what has got changed? The things got changed in two fronts. One is from the hardware front, and the other is, of course, the software. In terms of hardware, so there is a rise of GPUs or graphical processing units, right? So if you look at in the last few years, you could see that the CPU versus the GPU, in terms of the computing power, it has a tremendous increase, but for the for the same price. So the price per performance huge in the last few years. And then next comes the storage cost, right? So earlier it used to be all hard disk drive, everything. These days it's all static solid solid drives. So which has improved performance, but also the reduced cost. So you notice that there's a huge decrease in the the price per performance and time. So these are two major things that has happened in the recent years. So if you look at from the software perspective, so there is a huge change in terms of the software technique that is being applied, right? Taking making use of the huge change in the advancement in the hardware part. Earlier, what used to happen is, suppose you want to define some problem to be solved by software, what you need to do is you need to have a very smart algorithm to be applied on your existing data, because if you feed data to your because the algorithm is only a core, so it is easier, and then data is very hard to collect, annotate, clean up, and all that. So they work with a very small data, but then you need to have to solve for that, you need to have a very sophisticated algorithm. But in recent years, this has been completely reversed, right? So you have a huge data because you have huge processing power available, and you have almost next to nothing cost for the storage. So you could store tremendous data. Imagine, I mean, I could see, 20 years back, I mean, or 10 years back when I had my first kid. So we used to take only very small phones. I mean, have very small videos. We cannot capture on every day. But for the next kid, I mean, the processing power is increased so much, and I don't even go back and see those videos, because there are so many videos that we that we capture for every during the growth, right? So, and I never, I mean, this has been like for the past 10 years, I never went back and cleared my videos or something for making a disk space, because that has been very, very cheap. So that's what has happened. So what it is, these days, you need to have a very, very simple algorithm. If you look at even though the process itself is complex, but the solution itself is very, very simple. It's a very simple algorithm. It only uses the standard linear programming techniques, which is a simple matrix multiplication and processing. And then, but it's up uses a huge volume of data. So it's like I captured all these real world scenarios. Now make sense out of this. You're throwing all of this huge data back to the software and then asking it to make sense out of it, right? That's exactly what is happening. And there are various techniques that has been defined these days that does that. So, okay, so bit about the overview, but we can slightly switch gears to our the current focus, which is natural language processing. So I want to give you a current state of things with the Indic languages, because that's what I'm quite interested on. I will tell you why in a while. So if you look at Indic languages versus, I mean, across, I mean, if you take statistics of across all the languages, I'm going to share you one data, one piece of data on the state of the languages, right? So if you look at this graph, this shows the number of native speakers by language against the number of articles in Wikipedia. This is a very simple measure, just to see how resource rich particular languages. That's a very simple, straightforward measure, right? So if you look at on the top, even though there are less number of speakers, but in terms of the availability of articles in Wikipedia, it's more, obviously, naturally, for English, French, German, all those Western languages. In fact, for English, I need to trim down the bar because it is so off the chart. So, so that's the current state. But if you look at low resource languages, even though, for example, take the case of Hindi. So even though it has a similar or much larger number of speakers than Russian, Japanese in terms of number of articles, This is far less. Take the case of Tamil here. So even though the number of natural native speakers are almost same as German or French in terms of the availability of articles is completely disproportionate, right? So what it means, what it means is if you are in a high, I mean, if you speak in the so-called high resource language, what it means is you already have a huge test corpus that is available, that's already been made available for you. These are all annotated text corpus. So what it means, a text corpus is you take take the print or whatever, wherever it is, you convert that into in a way that could be consumed by in a soft in a soft manner, and then you can run some various analysis. There are, if you look at the natural language processing, there are various various ways that you can make sense out of that for a machine to interpret, right? For example, one is about the morphological structure, how the language itself is constructed, and also the syntactical nature, because the language has to have the regular a grammar to make sense out of that, and things like that. So all of this has already been annotated and available. Somebody has done all the stuff, everything is available. So when you have such a resource available, then what you can do is you can use the existing data to do your machine translation and other means. Same goes for speech data, right? So for speech data, what it means is you capture the speech from various the native speakers, along with all that, which caters for different accents and regions and everything, and then store them and then annotate them. When you say annotate, what it means is if somebody has spoken a paragraph or something, somebody manually transcribes that into a text, right? Only then you can make a one-to-one comparison between what has been spoken and what does it mean. So what they do, once they do that, what it means is you can build a huge speech model so that you can take any other new speech that comes in and then do the transcription, right? So that's where the text to speech and speech to text, even now you can use it in Google Docs and others. So all your Google Assistant, Alexa, and all of that works on that methodology, right? So I mean, even in this, you can readily see what is the difference between a high resource and a low resource. I mean, you can talk to Alexa in English, but even in your Indian English, but not using your native tongue. So that's exactly the reason. So, and same goes for optical character recognition, because most of the available text, literature, and all that is available in print, not all of them has been made into in the available online. So you need something that automatically does it. And if you look at for commercial deployment, we need to have real-time translation. All of that has the basis of the availability of the resources that you can work with your language. So even though India has a very high and specific need for such resource, but unfortunately we do not quite have it. But there are already some significant projects that focuses specifically on the for natural language processing, right? So there are some IITs, they have a separate research groups that does that, and there are some government research institutes like CDAC and others which which does that. And recently, which I have stumbled upon, there are some open source initiatives that has come up, which specifically deals with this missing corpus availability for the Indic languages, and which provides some code and model for us to work with. The reason why it has to be open, the reason why it has to be open source is, if you today you can translate, use Google Translate to translate, but you cannot deploy on your own in your own computer, right? So you have to use that service. So what it means is you can only use what has been provided to you. You cannot improve upon, even though you have the means and ways to do it. Since you don't have access to the model, you cannot further improve upon that. You have to make do with whatever has been available. So in a moment, I will explain why that is important. So this AI for Bharat has been an initiative started by two of the IIT professors. It's a volunteer-led organization, and it currently supports 11 Indian languages and also the pairs between them, right? So it supports the model that translates between across the Indian languages, like Tamil to Hindi, Hindi to Tamil, Tamil to Telugu and such, and between English and the Indian languages. And what they have done is they have created a model which is trained on, around 47 million sentence pairs across the languages. What it means is now what has been previously available only for the commercial sources, now it is available for us to use. Okay, so now I just wanted to show a quick snippet. So in this natural language processing, right? So one of the major important thing with the natural language processing is machine translation, right? Because people have to communicate. Currently, it's all everything is globalized, and so it is very important for even to understand other cultures and others to to tap into the other resource. You need to have a machine translation to make your works and others available from your culture over to the others, right? So traditionally, machine translation has been used in very specific confined domains. For example, legal, right? Because the legal documents needs to be translated. Supposing somebody doesn't speak the language, then it has to be transcribed in their language and things like that. So it has been used in the specific context. And then there are certain usage in medical transcription and other domains. So the literary domain has always been, one of the hardest domains to crack because the literary texts are generally very hard because it has its language subtleties and nuances and all of it. It has to cater for all of that, right? So, but what we have done here, we are going to see a snippet from one of the, a literary text and see how the existing current state of the art and open source translations does this, right? So this is a one snippet of a source text in Tamil, and then this is a manual translation. This has been translated by a professional translator. So I'm going to compare this against the existing state of the art and also the open source. So what I used the same snippet that you have seen on the previous slide, the source Tamil text, fed into a Google Translate API and Microsoft, and I also used one of the open source library that I talked about, and tried to compare against this. So when I did this exercise, I was hoping this AI for Bharat has no chance to stand against the state of the art systems, right? Because this has been done by probably a 10-odd volunteer project, right? And I mean, you know about the likes of Google and Microsoft, the kind of the resources that they command, right? But if you look at it, I was pleasantly surprised to see it is performed as good as the existing state of the art translations, and if not much better, right? So if you can compare against a few things here. So one, okay, so the translation is not even 50 or 40 or 50%. So that's for sure. Yes, you're all aware of that. But if you look at it syntactically, it got most of the things right. There is no nonsense sentence or word. I mean, if you have tried it last a few years back, you could see if you try with one of the low resource languages, it has been a completely nonsensical text would be thrown back. But that's not the case, at least these days. At least it tries to do a sensible translation grammatically all of that is correct. It accounts for all the major morphological structure, for example, because the word order and all that, right? Because English has a completely separate word order, a sentence SVO type, and Tamil doesn't have such, and things for that. It caters for all of that. So that's about the comparison, just to give a gist of what is what is happening on that upfront. Now I wanted to show a quick demo here. See if you're seeing the same screen as I'm seeing. Yeah. Trying to switch rooms. Okay, I'm going to show you a quick demo on a code. I know generally advised to never try a live coding in when you're talking to a large number of people, but I'm going to do just that. Okay, so this is the A for Bharat. I mean, I think so can give later on give a quick intro. So what I've been doing is I'm trying to use the A for Bharat, which is the open source library for natural language processing. I have set up this system already. So I'm going to just go to the final place where I can run some text. Yeah, some text. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some BBC news today's, I think it's today's. So I'm going to take some sample text and try and run this, right? So let's do that. Okay, so maybe we can try this. I'm going to grab this sentence. I'm going to use I can share the link as well. I mean, you guys can try this as well. So I'm going to just trying to translate from Tamil to English. Okay, so this got translated. Before that, just to give a quick idea. So as I mentioned, this is open source. It has both the model as well as the code that is available. It's completely up to you to make use of it. You can even go to this repository and use this. So it has now given some output. So we are going to try and compare against. Let me try and copy it here and say. So this is the BBC translated version of it. Let me see if I can copy this in a place where it's still visible. Let me try and copy this here. So this is server. This is from BBC, right? This is from BBC. This is the version that. Give me 1 second. This is the version that. So this is the version that A for Bharat given. This is the Tamil version of it. So, it's a bit sluggish here. Not sure if you can still read it. Okay, for people who whose native tongue is Tamil, at least they could read it. So, okay, so what we'll do is we are going to just compare against what is the BBC version, what is the translated version. So, if you look at these two, if you can still read it, if you can't read it, let me know. I will try and increase the. Okay, still, I believe it's legible now. So, if you look at it, this is the translated version, right? So it's almost, I mean, it does quite a good job if you look at it. So by combining these two things, researchers created a map of where the mammoth lived and traveled 17,000 years ago in Alaska. That's the BBC version. So this is the open source machine translation version. By combining these two things, researchers studied the travel history of a male woolly mammal who lived in the Alaska region over 17,000 years ago, which is pretty good if you ask me, right? So the best part of this, it's not about how close it is to the actual article. The best part of this is all of this model is already available for us to work with. So that is the to me that's the surprising and the exciting thing about that. So yeah, so that's the small demo I could go on, but in due to the constraints of the time, I'll come back to that. So what are all the opportunities that is available? All right. So the machine learning is it's very young and it's very upcoming technology. This is being applied across some wide domains, wide domains, and it has some deep learning applications as well. So I would strongly suggest you guys to look at this machine learning, use these opportunities. Okay. Thanks for listening to this so far, and I will hand this over to Visu. I'm not sure if I stuck to my time or not, but sorry about that.
I have one question, sir. So related to AI for Bharat, is it open source or commercial product?
It's completely open source, ma'am. It's completely open source. Even the model is open source. That's the best part of it, because most of the time the code and everything will be open source, but the model is it's completely proprietary typically, because it requires that, because that's their the core value prop, right? It's in the model, it's in the data, right? So but in this case, this has been a completely open source. I can, we have a couple of which Visu will talk about. We have a couple of engineers who are associated with that, with that program as well. So they are available for mentoring the students and others if anybody is willing. So with that, thanks everyone, and I will hand this over to Visu. Visu.
So thanks for a very nice presentation. Thank you, sir. Yeah,
somebody has a question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any
I have
question?
a question. This is Samyukta from CSE G1. And currently, I heard about a contest from Google in which they try to, from the context given in English or in Hindi, they try to answer the questions. So, is there any models as such, in the AI for Bharat, like have they created anything so that we can take an inspiration from that? Because what I saw was from the model that you ran, AI Bharat's translation, it translates line by line with a very good precision. Like compared to BBC, I found more accurate and the details were more precise in AI for Bharat's translation. So is there any model as such in that?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
can you just enlighten us upon that part? Like, how are we supposed to work on a model that answers questions?
Yeah. So we can talk about and more after this. In fact, the context is about that. So if you are willing to participate, you could get a very good guidance right from the source. So stay on and participate in the context, and you will know more.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, Mahendran sir. I have a question.
Can we, sorry, 1 second, I'll just check with Visu because I have to be cognizant of the time as well. Visu, should we take up questions later after we are done, or should we go ahead now?
Yeah. So thanks, Mahendra. Hey everyone. I mean, like we are really excited to see like questions from everyone. So if you just like give us 15 more minutes, we'll just like cover like the contest as well, and then we'll be like opening up for Q&A. So then you can ask the Q&A team. So we are just wanted to make sure like we cover like the main ones. Then like the floor is open. Like you all can ask questions. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you, sir.
Vishwanathan.
Yes, ma'am.
Vishwanathan, this is Subhashni.
Hello, ma'am. How are you? It's been okay. Now video on பண்றேன் நீங்க. Okay. I'm quite happy to like meet you again. Hello.
Yes, Visu, please go ahead.
Okay.
Sir, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing the recent challenges and opportunities in AI, and also discussing the various projects in NLP and giving the real-time demo of machine translation. Thank you so much, sir. It's my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished alumnus, Mr. Vishwanathan Mahalingam, 2005 batch. Mr. Vishwanathan completed BTech IT in PH College of Technology in the year 2005 and the Masters in Giorgio Institute of Technology, US. He was working as a software engineer in Cisco Bangalore from 2005 to 2009. From 2009 to 2010, he was working as a graduate research assistant in Georgia Institute of Technology, US, and he built a spam detection system for Twitter in Python. He worked at Server Access Virtualization Business Unit in Cisco, US from 2010 to 2012. Initially, he joined as a senior software engineer in Rightcell in the year 2012 and promoted as an engineering manager in the year 2016 till 2019. Now he is a director of engineering core platform at Rightcell, US. He voluntarily contributed rupees 3 lakhs to the college to the conduct of Winmurasi programming context. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Vishwanathan to give an introduction about the Winmurasi programming context.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Like good to meet you all. So last year, like we ran a contest more like as part of like a tech talk. So the last year contest was like more kind of like simple. All you have to do is like scrape 2,500 like blog entries. You have to parse the text, and then you have to like sort the text and like find the top 10 longest words. So it's like relatively it's like much more simpler like contest. So this year we have like a slightly medium complex contest. So just before heading into the contest, like let's just like quickly like see few slides, and then like we will head into the contest. So I would like to also like so there will be like 4 people like would be judges like for this year contest. So we have like Gokul and like Prem. So Gokul and like Prem, they work for like 1/4 labs. 1/4 labs like was started by like 2 IIT Madras like professors. Like they were like a spin-off like from IIT, and like they were the ones like who are like behind like AA for Bharat like libraries. So both Gokul and like Prem, we have invited them for this talk. So they are like with us. Prem is an alumni like from PhD Tech like BE Computer Science like batch like in 2018 like batch. So I have like added their like links here. So they will be helping us like with the contest. And like since we have already like covered Mahendra and like me, I'll skip like the intro slides here. We can go to the next slides. Okay. So one before I think. Oh, yes. Thank you. So let's just like quickly summarize like what we had, what Mahendra has like covered earlier. So first thing is like there is a difference between high resource language and the low resource languages. So the European languages like English, French, German, as well as like Japanese, like Korean, they all like fall under the high resource language bucket. Like all the Indian languages like Tamil, Hindi, Kannada, Malayalam, Telugu, and like the Southeast Asian languages like Indonesian, Malaysian, everything, and like every like African languages, like they all like fall under the low resource language bucket. So the key difference between high resource and low resource, as Mahendra said, was like one of the available like corps, like bilingual corps, like especially high quality bilingual like data. For example, right, like any law which get passed in like the European Union, they translate into all the available like European language, like all their official like European languages. So if some law gets passed in German, it gets immediately manually translated into different European languages like French, Spanish, like German, and so on. So what they have is like they almost like have a high quality line by line text like bilingual translations, which help like further machine learning like advancements. For Indian languages, like unfortunately we don't have like that yet. So that's like posing like a critical challenge. So if you see like the AI bots, right, like for high resource languages, they are like far advanced. You have like a lot of like chat bots, voice recognition bots, like automatic captioning. For example, right, like I have Google and like I have like Alexa here with me. So let me just like ask like Alexa, hey Alexa, can you play Ilayaraja song from Spotify?
Playing songs by Ilayaraja from Viswanathan Spotify.
Okay. Oh, hey Alexa, stop. Hey Alexa, stop. Okay. Hey Alexa, Ilayaraja paatu onu padu. Okay. So if you see that, right, like it's able to understand like the Indian English, and it's able to like play like it's almost like a commercial like product, right? But if you instruct Alexa to do something in Tamil, like it doesn't know how to like react. Same with like Google, right? Like so if I have like a Google voice thing, hey Google, what is the time? Google, money enna? Blank. So both Google and so all these things, right? Like because there is like a cards like available, there are like algorithms and like resources. There are like huge like advancements, and like there are like commercially available like products. Like what it means is like also there are like research stage like projects. For example, these like AI NLP bots, right? They are attempting to actually like write English fiction. So you'll be seeing like articles in New Yorker, New York Times, and like from time to time. But on the other end, like we see, like what it means, like it means like we have a huge opportunity for low resource languages. So anything, any small things like we do, any improvements like we do, like it's like a potential opportunity. And like whatever we are like learning like by doing this and learning like on the Indian languages can also be applied to the other rest of the low resource languages. So it's considered like one of the big four like open problems to see like how can we apply NLP and so on. Can we move to the next slide, Mahendra? Okay. So can someone like chat on like post on the chat on like what this image is? What image like do you see? you can just like type your answers like on the chat. Well, you know. Okay. So actually it's a yes, like Tarun actually, like, yeah, like the next 2-3 people, yes, like they posted. So it's Sparkadal, like the churning of like milk ocean, right? Like so the way like so this kind of like signifies that like you need to get all hands available to get things like done, right? So for low resource languages like the Indian language, I mean, think of this, it's just not only like for Tamil, Hindi, Bengali, right? Like you have like a lot more speakers on those languages. But if you see actually like what has been done so far, there is huge gap. So we need all the help like available like from government, research institutions like AFR Bharat, universities and colleges like what we're doing right now, tech companies and so on, open source enthusiasts. So we need like help from like manual translators who can create high quality bilingual like data set. So we can we have a training data set and we can like run our algorithms on top of it. So the contest for this year is like one such like small step towards that. So Mahindra, we can go to the next slide. Mahindra. Okay. So the details of the contest is available on this one. Like once again, like we are going to like make this like repo public shortly after this call. Like this year we are going to have like 2 rounds of the contest. Like there will be a qualifier round, and then there will be a like final round. So the qualifier round deadline will be like next Sunday midnight. You can form a team size of like 3 to 5. And the goal of the qualifier round is to like at least just give you an overview of like NLP, help you understand like the AFR Bharat like libraries, and like the major focus on this round is like primarily on the data collection skills and like the model evaluation skills, and you're like of course like your Python like coding skills and communication skills as well, like documents like demo and so on. So one thing like we want to, I mean, of course, there is like a prize money, and then like the 4 of us will be the judges like for the contest. So one thing we want to stress is, see, like these low resource language NLP like problems, right? Like, we cannot expect somebody like from outside like Tamil Nadu to come and solve like the problem for Tamil. So that's why colleges like PhD, like we need to collaborate like with other institutions like IITs, like with their open source teams, and together like let's see how far we can get on solving these problems. Like Mahindra, can you click on the link on the first link? And yeah, so we will make this like repo open source repo like available, like we'll make it like public like very soon. So the overall objective here, right, is to, as I said, make everyone like familiarized with the NLP and like the models. So can you slightly scroll down, Mahindra? Yeah. So the prerequisite, all we need is like some knowledge about like Git. You can like clone this like repo on your own systems, and like we also have like the resources and tools like listed on the site as like the prerequisite. So there are like 5 steps like on the qualifier rounds. The first stage, like we have already like completed it. So we have given you like that like the text. So you don't need to like go over like the text. So like what we have is 100 years ago, like I mean even more, like 120 years ago, like a Bengali translator named Kisari Mohan Ganguly, he has translated Mahabharatam into English. Like he has took the Sanskrit original text, and then he has like translated that to English, and it's like available like in public domain. It's like if you just like search for his name, there's a Wikipedia article, and it's like available. And recently, like a prolific translator, his name is like Aruchilla Perarasan. He has like taken the Kisari Mohan Ganguly's like English text, and he has done a line by line text into Tamil. So we have like a Tamil text like done by Aruchilla Perarasan, and it's also available like in public domain. So like I mean like we are choosing Mahabharatam just like because we have like the line by line corpus like comparison, and like there's no just want to claim there is no political intent here. So there are like only few cards like we have, like one is like Bible, other is like Quran, then Mahabharatam and so on. Like, I mean, almost all of them are religious text where you have like a English translation and then like a line by line translation of that like available in Tamil. So for this like contest, we are just like choosing Mahabharatam. So if you like click the resources like repo on the top, we have collected like 10 like such articles like from both the languages. So as you see here, we have just like chosen like the first parvam in Mahabharata. Like Mahabharatam has like 18 parvams, like you might know. The first one is called Adi Parvam. So what we have done here is like we have selected 10 chapters like from Mahabharatam Adi Parvam, like and provided you like a English text as well as like the Tamil text. So the text like yeah. Can you just like open one and show Mahendra? Yeah. So if you scroll down, like this is almost like a scraped text available like from Kisari Mohan Ganguly's like version. Like this file will end as like -en, and then there is like an equivalent Tamil text. So if you scroll down, yeah. So there is like a Tamil text available for the same text like so we have.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, yeah, your voice is breaking, sir. Please turn
okay.
off your video and then.
Oh, sure.
No, for us it is clear only. Please adjust, check your network now.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sure. No.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, got it. So one thing we have here is like on the so we have like 10 chapters like where we have Tamil and then the corresponding English translations. So one additional thing on the Tamil is like there are on inside the flower brackets like you have some words which explain the context and so on. So you can like remove all that and like then there are like numbers and so on. So if you if you go back, right. So first stage is like almost data, just like the text collection. So we have already done that for you, and the text is available. So the second stage of the contest is basically like you have to build a parallel data set, which means take these like 10 English and like Tamil translated chapters, split them like line by line, okay, and like kind of like clean up like the content, like clean up the Tamil content. So you can like put all the sentences like aligned between like the Tamil and English, and like kind of like create a repo called like data in your own GitHub account, and like share the Python file and like the data file. Then the next stage is like we have given you like the AFR Bharat libraries, so you can run. So what we are trying to do, right? We are trying to like create like an English translation out of the Tamil translation. So take like Arutchelva Pearson's like copy, run like the AFR Bharat like algorithm, and create like the English translation. Create your own like English translation version. So that's the second stage. Then what we are going to do is like we are going to compute. We are going to see like how well AFR Bharat or how well like the translation has been done. So we are going to like compare that with the original Kisari Mohan Ganguly's English version. So there are like different metrics using which you can compare. So we chose to like use BLEU score. So it's like one of the metric you can like read about that. Like there are like links provided here. So what we want is like actually take the 10 Tamil articles, retranslate back using like AFR Bharat's library, and then you are going to compare like the your translated version versus like the original like English version of Kisari Mohan. So that's going to be like the challenge. And then there is a bonus point section where do the same thing, but instead of using AFR Bharat, use like Google Translate. Use Google Translate, like compute like the same score. And then like we have submission guidelines like listed on how you can like submit. Like, so what are the things like we will need? We will share like all the links with you, and like this repo will be like available, will be made available like publicly very soon, right after this talk. So this is like the qualifier like round, everyone. And then we also, if you have any questions, you can raise that as an issue on. So can you show the issue, Mahendra? So you can like raise it as an issue in like the GitHub repo. So the reason like why we are asking you to like raise it as like any question on, hey, like how do I do this? Like I don't understand anything. You can like post it. So this question will be a public question. So anyone else who has a similar question, right? They could search and they could like actually read through. So it will be helpful for everyone like who's participating on the challenge. You don't need to share your code. You don't need to like say like share like any snippet. But still you can like post your questions as issues to the main repo. And we would like you to like actually document your strategy as like a readme on your file, and you can keep your repo as like private repo, and you can just like share that like only with the four of us like here. What we are planning to do is like right after like the deadline, after a week, we will announce like the people who are qualified for the final round. AFR Bharat also has like GPU machines. The final round will be more on, we will be giving you like compute resources and time, so you can like use AFR Bharat's like machines here. And like we also have listed like the selection criteria on how will we evaluate, right? Like so we have listed on like the steps here. Okay, give me 1 minute. So I'm just going to like make the repo public, and I'll like post the link here like on the chat. Okay, here you go. Like we made it public. Okay. Any questions, team? Like so we have like Gokul, and Gokul will be answering your questions. You can like post your questions on the chat. So we are. Yeah. Any questions so far? Yeah. So in summary, all we are trying to do is like we have like 2 translated texts. We have like 2 texts in
Sir, I
Tamil.
have a question to ask.
Yes.
Is there any rules that we should use the particular NLP model, or can we create our own models like that, sir?
Okay. Probably Gokul might be the best person to answer.
Yeah,
To
hi.
answer.
Yeah, so before that, to actually give a brief introduction about myself.
Sir,
So
your voice
I'm a
breaking,
machine
sir.
learning research at 1 second. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Okay,
is
sir.
it okay now?
Yes, Gokul.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you,
Gokul.
thank you. Yeah, so to introduce myself, so I'm a machine learning researcher at AFI Bharat. So just like Bisu also said, so I'm also one of the judges and editors of this contest. So yeah, glad to meet you all. Okay, so to answer your question, the reason we are finding the contest to use this specific model is because so the final round is actually based on this model. So that is why we encourage everyone to try and evaluate on this model initially, and if possible, so there is a separate thing called stage 4. So in that stage 4, actually, you are also free to try out on any other online services or models, like you mentioned. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, okay, thank you.
Gokul, actually, your voice was breaking. Welcome, Gokul. Thanks for your idea and comments. I think they can take forward. So if you have more questions, please come out. Anything regarding the contest, if it is not clear, or if you want some information other than what has been stated, please you can unmute and speak, or you can put it in the chat. Quickly do it. See, it is midnight for them who are there in US and Canada, sir.
We are fine, man. It's not that late, so we are good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, any questions? Kartika, you were there, you were asking some question?
No, ma'am. No, I am comfortable with these things. I can. It got clear, ma'am. No issues.
Okay. So the contest is more about all machine translation only, right? And specifically for our Tamil language?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are right.
And I really want to appreciate the organizers. Like this is a good one. As we are also working in this area, I feel like this is a good initiative things that you have taken up. So like hats off to your efforts. And I appreciate all the students also to participate in this. So this is latest state of art research happening in this area. So it will definitely benefit all of you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kartika. Thanks for your nice words. So I think when they participate, they may post a question directly on the site, I think.
Yes,
so only
yes,
when
ma'am.
they start working, they may be knowing what is the problem, and so they may post questions with that. So with
Yes,
us,
yes, ma'am.
so I think they can form the groups, and they can register there itself on the website itself, their group. It should come through Shadambige or Vairam.
Yeah, like so. If Shadam Bihai or Vairam ma'am already has like the list, like it'll be good, ma'am.
Okay.
So yeah, they can register.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do that, ma'am.
Yeah, you follow that and
Yes,
try to
ma'am.
get teams from all the departments
Yes, ma'am.
and make them participate in this contest.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Any students want to speak? Or
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean, if we have some
know
time,
more
we
about the
can.
contest?
Sorry.
Yeah.
If we have some time, we can open the floor for questions.
So maybe the participant level may come with even different groups again, because this is further talk they have come. The group may be from different classes also, because some have placements and they are not able to join. And so I think those teams may have understood what is this ML, AI. So they may be able to give a good thing. I think this is the level, I think. Our students may post their issues in the website. Since I don't find any questions. Yeah, there is one question on the chat by Akash.
Does the process
Yes,
of patent applies to ML models too? Is the question? Yes, the model can be. I'm not sure if it can be patented, but it can be a proprietary model. The process can be, because the patenting has a different take, right? So you can only patent or maybe, I mean, I could be wrong, but my understanding is you could patent the actual product. I believe the machine learning model is also considered such. So I think the answer to your question is yes, but I'm not too sure. Any other questions? Somebody else has had some questions. They can post their questions now, or maybe they can reach out later as well. Okay, so Visu.
Yeah. So I think there is no questions. Students normally they are like that. It is they hesitate to give, but when they start participating, they may get some issues, which they may post on the website. I think. Yeah.
Hello, so
Sharda?
just one question, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Somebody is asking a question. Yeah.
Yes.
How are we supposed to team up for the contest? Because I guess we register using the Google form individually. So how are we supposed to team up?
That's a good question. I think your lecturer may answer that.
Yeah, so last time, like what we did, Shiva, is like, I mean, we allowed individual contestants as well as like team. So last time, like people like 1-member team as well as like 3-member teams participated. But like this year, we would like to actually stress that like we want actually like teams of size at least 3 to 5, because like the next final rounds are like going to be more complex, and it will need like more than one person to like do. Probably I let like Sharda Mehe ma'am or like Vaira ma'am to kind of like announce and then I let you guys figure out. Might be a better way.
Maybe we can create a registration form. No? Yeah, Sharda, you tell.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we already collected the email IDs, ma'am. Through the email ID, we will collect the teams.
Okay.
Instead of collecting
the form.
Through the form, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Or you can post it, no? So anybody can form a team and then they can communicate to the thing. So you can create a separate ID, mail ID for this contest.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So they can give their willingness. You can give some kind of form also to include all the names of the team.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. So that will be fine. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and additionally, like want to touch upon like one more point. Like over is like moving to the final rounds, right? Like like we also plan to like work with you like offline. Like we can work together. Like so sort of like a mentorship like program. So we will announce like more details like based on like the response like we are seeing for the qualifier round, right? Like we will update like more like more details about it like later. Team.
Yeah. That will be fine. So once you form the team and send it, then there will be a kind of mentorship from them. Okay, from our Venmurasu team, programming team people. So they will guide you, so you can further proceed with their guidance. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah. If there is no query, then we can give the vote of thanks. Yeah. Vairam, you can.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So, a very good morning to one and all who joined in this meeting. I'm Dr. T. Vairam here to present the vote of thanks for today's session. So, I would like to thank our webinar speakers, Mr. Vishwanathan and Mr. Mahendra Rajan, for enlightening us with their knowledge. The session was full of knowledge and interesting things. It gives insight into the machine learning for NLP. The point where Mr. Vishwanathan told to the student about the programming contest was really informative and useful to the students. I'm pretty sure the precious knowledge on machine learning for NLP that Mr. Mahendran Rajan gave us will definitely help the students to carry out this Venmurasu programming contest. Once again, I thank Mr. Vishwanathan, Mr. Mahendra Rajan, Mr. Gopal, and Mr. Prem who voluntarily came forward and initiated this Venmurasu programming contest, which will be conducted for the student every year. I would like to thank our beloved HOD, Dr. K. Uma Maheshwari, for giving us immense support to make this event successful. Finally, a few notes to my dear students, friends. Taking part in competitive programming contests teaches you how to be more focused on the task and not only complete it quickly but also accurately. So these skills are highly beneficial for any job, not just in coding. So please learn how to train yourself to be better coder. So once again, I thank you all who gave your presence for this session. Thank you all.
So thank you, Vairam. Yeah, thanks Vishwanathan, thanks Mahendran sir, and also thank you Gokul and Prem for
Thanks,
your
Subhash.
involvement in this contest. So we are really proud to have you, and hope it goes on fine with multiple teams. So
Thanks for the
here,
kind words.
yes,
Thanks to the students.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
thanks to
Yes,
everyone.
Yeah, we had a
thank
good
Thank you.
response here. The participants list, but they're not much responding. Maybe they come out with the contest.
Yes, sure, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have a ton of questions like once they
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yes. Thanks,
Sure,
thanks,
correct.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. So can we close the meeting?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. So we will keep in touch. Shada Bige and Vairam will be contacting you regarding this contest. So
Yes, ma'am.
how about, so they may ask suggestions of the form, details about the students, and you can give them. So it will be run. So as the deadline is there, only 1 week there. So students, get yourself prepared. Just go through the websites and check what you have to do there, and you can form the team and let us know the details. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Shadavi and Bairam also, and all the
thank you,
participants
ma'am.
for your
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
presence. So I'm leaving. If you have any discussions, you can have it.
Yes, ma'am.
Subhashini, ma'am.